You're listening to Scheduling Sin with me, Snowmill.
This is a rubber cock ring.
Yeah.
He has got his dick and balls out now, and they are stretching this rubber cock ring out.
I just am waiting for it to pop, you know?
Oh my God! Trying to put it on him, and the girls are laughing. Hello, Mrs. Snow.
Well, hey there, Mr. Snow. It's
are
been
you?
a minute.
It has.
We've had a crazy couple weeks.
We've been fucking busy.
Yeah, and so we are coming to you after the craziness that was SnoBall.
Yeah, the day after the night before. So it finally happened. We finally had
did
SnoBall
it.
after all this buildup.
I know, we successfully completed, and it was a blast.
It was a blast. I mean, we had been planning and talking about SnoBall for how long? For weeks.
Oh, months.
Weeks and weeks and weeks. And I got to say, you know, having been our first event, definitely not without a huge amount of stress.
Yeah.
And a huge amount of anxiety.
Right.
I will fully admit that there were numerous times in this planning process where I just wanted to say, I'm out.
Well, you tend to be a little bit more, you were all about the details.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that really paid off.
I think so.
I think
in the end, it
everybody
all came together.
Yeah, everybody was really pleased with the event. Everybody was really, we had several compliments throughout the night about just, we can see the amount of effort and time and thought that was put into this, and it's very evident. And so that's really always nice to hear.
It was a ton. And
it was a lot of fun.
For all of you that couldn't make it, we want to take you back to a few days before.
You're dead to us.
You're dead to us.
No,
we want to take you back to a few days before SnoBall.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, the planning and the preparations have been happening really over the last several months.
So we had a lot of conversations about, we were very committed to having really good swag bags.
Yes.
And so we had a lot of fun kind of coming up with some fun things to put in there. And us reaching out to our lovely sponsor, Extreme Restraints, that turned out to be amazing.
They came through in a way that I could
amazing.
never have imagined.
Yeah.
So there's a wonderful person at Extreme Restraints that I've been talking to for weeks about all this, and they wanted to support the party. And they don't normally do that.
Right. And I think, you know, what's so funny is I remember conscientiously thinking when we reached out to them, oh, maybe they'll send us a free toy or something silly. And in my head, I was like, something for like a door prize, or would we play a game?
Absolutely.
Like,
and that
we
would have
were
been
like completely
awesome.
anticipating like 2 or 3 little things.
Yeah, no, that's not
like
what
that.
they
That's
did.
what we were anticipating. And I thought that would have been amazing if we had gotten that. Yeah, no, we got 6 boxes.
6 boxes
On our front porch, addressed to Mr. and Mrs. Snow.
It was amazing.
It was incredible.
What they sent.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Amazing. Huge amount of stuff that every single person who came got multiple things to take home with them that night. Absolutely incredible.
And they had a lot of fun choosing.
Yeah, the things they sent us were fun.
The things they said were super fun.
They were really fun. They have this line that's unique to them. It's called Creature Cocks.
Oh my gosh. And they were just, I mean, I think as someone who's, I guess it's a fetish. I mean, I guess there are people that are like all about this. So for someone who's not familiar with it, it was a little like, holy fuck, what are these things that are like, what are these creatures that are like?
Well, one of them is one of them's like an octopus.
Yeah,
that's called the octocock.
The octocock, yeah.
I keep wanting to call it the coctopus.
Yeah, I gotta pull up my picture here and
then there's one that's like a snake.
Oh, the cobra.
The cobra.
Yeah,
and then there's another one that is
the Pegasus pecker.
The Pegasus pecker.
Yeah,
that one I think has real potential.
Well, that one I
think they all do, but that Pegasus pecker I think has got real promise.
We got some feedback from one of our guests that she quite enjoyed that.
It did the job. The job. So we got 6 boxes of these toys, and immediately, so what do you do when you get 6 boxes of sex toys on your front porch? It's like Christmas time. But the worst part of it was,
I know.
We got 6 boxes of sex toys.
And we're talking like big boxes.
Yeah, huge. We're so excited to see what they are. Like, we honestly cannot wait to like just rip them open.
Right.
And at this, we're imagining like having a bed just completely covered in sex toys. And this is what we wanted to do. But the problem is we had like family coming over.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, your dad was around and then our kids and like I can't just have like a bunch of random octococks hanging out.
We had
like,
all kinds of family coming.
Yeah.
So we didn't even have time to get into them. But this is the funny part.
They're like, what are all these boxes?
So yeah, right. So we had this big pile of boxes and we had to lie about what they were. And families coming around and milling around or whatever. And it got kind of quiet. I don't know, for whatever reason, there's a lull or something. And I can't remember who it was. Like you looked at me or I looked at you.
Yeah.
And we're like, open a box.
Let's go open a box.
Do you want to go sneak off and open a box?
And we totally
And so we
did.
would like run into the room where they were and like cut one open and like look at it real quick. And it was like, and then we'd have to shut it up real fast and then go back to what we were doing. Oh gosh, it was so funny. And then the next morning is really when we got into
Right,
it.
we dropped the kids off, then like we were home alone.
Straight home to open up the giant boxes.
And it was it was incredible. Like
so much
the amount of stuff they sent was amazing. And it was good stuff. Like it wasn't like, oh man. So we had a really fun time really determining what that was going to look like for our guests. Because initially, again, like we thought it was going to be a couple things that we were going to, use as door prizes or prizes for the game or something. But clearly we have 6 boxes of toys that we want to share and we want to, let people experience all of these amazing things. And so we finally eventually came up with, we set them all out.
Yeah. We made, so we'll circle back to this a little later too, but in the SnoBall space, we had a huge table.
Yeah.
Or huge countertop rather.
Right.
All laid out with these toys.
Yeah.
And the funny part about it was the rule was that you were allowed to look at the toys.
Absolutely. Look, explore, take a look. Yeah.
But you could not choose one for yourself.
Right.
Until after we had played Swinger Feud.
Right. Because the winners of Swinger Feud got first pick.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was later in the night. So we had all these crazy boxes. We had our thank you bags that we put together. Lots of fun swag, stickers.
Oh, we had a lot of fun. We got some
pens.
fun branded condoms. We got some cool little bracelets, little wristbands. We have pineapple stickers among pineapple stickers.
Well, and we also had, and this was kind of fun. We got those rubber wrist things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have a ton of those.
Yes.
If you would like one,
yes,
you can have one.
Yeah.
Just send us a mailing address and we'll send you one.
Sure. Absolutely.
So
along with maybe some other fun things.
At least with some other fun
maybe
things.
Maybe we'll put an extra, like rainbow candle cock because we have like 50 of them.
We have a ton of them. So if you're interested, email us, SnoMilf, SNOMILF at yahoo.com.
We'll send you some fun goodies.
And we'll send you a wristband and some stuff. Just tell us where to send it. So we had all of our stuff together. We had thank you cards, thank you bags. We had all these toys. We had a mountain of stuff.
Yeah.
That we loaded and took over there. Not including
we
all
definitely
the
had to
recording
repack
stuff.
it because we were like wheeling this through.
Yeah, we had to wheel it through the public space of a hotel.
Right. And so I was like, my biggest fear was like one of these boxes is going to bust open.
Can you imagine? We're walking through like
the
lobby of this fancy hotel and next thing you know, there's just dicks everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like a good time to me, but like, I don't think the guests
it might have drawn the wrong kind of attention.
Yeah. We don't want that.
We'll set the stage for you. So for those of you that didn't make it, we certainly hope that you can join us next year.
Yeah.
And we're having it again next year in the same place.
Yeah.
So pay attention because this will be exactly what it's like next year, except even bigger.
Right.
So this location, it's in South Bend, Indiana, and it's a really nice hotel.
Right. Really
high-end hotel. And they have these fantastic hospitality suites. Thank you. And the one that we were in, it's a small hallway that has all these hospitality suites in them. So it's this kind of nice segregated space. It's away from everything.
It's not by guest room at all.
You can be loud, all sorts of things. The space that we were in, gorgeous.
Oh my God, it was beautiful.
When you walk in the front door, there's 2 big wood doors that enter into this space. You kind of come around a little bit of a curve and you open right out into this giant granite bar. Mm-hmm. And it is a commercial style bar. So it has, this grand big bar space on the top. But on the back of the bar, it's got all of the stainless steel, the sinks and the ice
The ice
holders
containers
and the
yeah.
refrigerators and everything, and the glassware. We actually had real glassware that we were using. Just an absolutely gorgeous bar area. Above that was a huge TV. There are, I think, 4 big screen TVs in the space that we were able to connect to, and we had our stuff up there on those screens. And then past the bar was a great big seating area with a big comfortable couch and some comfortable chairs.
Yeah.
And then just beyond that was a little bit of a nook that we used we actually got a selfie banner.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this big crazy frame and this big screen, and you can take your pictures in front of it, and it has our podcast logo.
Yeah,
Mrs.
we're like
Snow's
official.
ass like all over
Mrs.
it.
Snow's ass, because we need that everywhere.
That was one of those moments. That was one of those moments because we got that banner.
Yeah.
And we set it up at home.
Yeah.
And it was like
in our future studio.
Which is coming. We're like, oh shit.
We're like official.
This is real.
Like, this is real.
We have a freaking selfie banner.
Yeah.
So that was in there. And then we also had a table that had our microphones and everything all set up for later that night.
Mm-hmm.
Big fireplace, big, beautiful gas fireplace that everybody kept turning off because it was too hot. And then just past that was another kind of seating area with some chairs and a couch and stuff. Absolutely amazing indoor space. And then the outdoor space.
So there was a patio.
Yes.
Yeah. And we were like up a couple floors. So it wasn't like outside. Like, it wasn't like on the ground level.
So it's not on the ground level.
Yeah.
And it's this huge patio. It goes the whole length of the suite.
There was lots of sitting areas. They had the heaters because we were outside. There was a fountain there, like a little waterfall fountain water feature, but it was turned off because of the weather. But
yeah, it might be on next year. We're about a week earlier next year. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous space outside, and very private.
Yes,
very private. So we had several of our guests get very comfortable out there on that outdoor space.
Yeah, I was able to get into my end of the evening costume change relatively quickly.
So the way we set this all up, the doors opened at 7:00.
Yeah.
And by 7:30 at the latest.
Oh yeah. Everybody was there.
Yeah. The entire guest list came.
Yeah. It was so fun.
No cancellations.
Yeah.
We got 0 messages from anybody saying my dog is sick, it's my time of the month, anything. Every single person who was on that guest list showed up, and they were in that room by 7:30.
And let me tell you,
away.
Everybody looked hot.
Yes. We asked, as far as dress code goes, and this will be the same for next year. It was basically dress to impress on arrival, right? No flip flops, shorts, t-shirts, ball caps, that kind of stuff. And these folks got the assignment.
Yeah.
Everybody looked incredible.
Yeah.
There were a lot of hot dresses.
There were some boobies out.
One of the ladies, I loved watching her walk around. There was one of the ladies who had these slits in her dress, like up to her upper thighs.
Up her upper thighs. Yeah.
Oh man!
So she stood still, you couldn't really tell. But the minute she started walking,
when she started walking around, every time she walked around, I lost track of whatever it was I was talking about.
Yeah, you completely ignored everybody else.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, she was pretty hot.
No, everybody looked great. Lots of guys, in jackets and.
You were pretty excited about your jacket.
I had this sporty little jacket that I tried.
I know.
Out.
He bought himself a little sporty jacket.
It was
and by the end of the night, he's wearing just his little undies and his jacket.
I liked wearing that jacket with nothing on underneath it more than I liked it with clothes on underneath it.
That doesn't surprise me.
No.
You don't like clothes.
You know who was really rocking it, though? Was Alex and Joe.
Yeah.
Alex and Joe were actually on our podcast.
They were.
They were. It was their room that we were in when we went to the hotel takeover.
I tell you what, Alex can rock a top hat.
He can rock a top hat.
I mean, not many people can do that, but he rocks that shit.
That guy rocks a top hat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he had kind of like a steampunk thing going on, and he had like the top hat stuff and then like suspenders.
And of course, like they coordinated, like, oh, yeah.
They always do.
Yeah.
They're always very good at that. No, they looked amazing. Everybody was great.
Yeah.
So around this time, everybody's kind of milling around. The idea was that we were going to do the icebreaker right around 8:00.
Yeah.
And for the icebreaker game, what we did, we got to come up with a new game for next year. But we put a card in one or two cards in everyone's gift bag, depending on whether it was a single or a couple.
Mm-hmm.
And on the cards, it had a space to write your name, number of years in the lifestyle, whether you're part of a single or a couple, and then a silly question.
And so, we talked about silly questions, but you kind of went off the deep end with these silly questions.
I'm not going to lie. So the day that I made these cards up, I
he
started
was
off
like they were kind of cheeky, and then they just kind of went off the rails.
Completely off the rails.
Off the rails.
So like the very first ones are things like, when do you look best naked? Was one of my first ones.
Right.
And then I had another one here. What's the weirdest side character that's ever appeared in a sex dream?
Oh, I didn't. That's a good one.
That's kind of fun.
Okay.
What's the most embarrassing thing you've ever accidentally texted?
Okay.
And then they got a little crazier.
They got way crazier.
They got crazier. One of them was, what's the deal with fisting?
Yeah, like that was the question. That was it. And I'm like, I don't even know. Like, how do you answer that?
What's the deal with fisting?
God love our guests. They were such good sports. So the way we did this is like everybody filled this out, right? And we have this big old school fishbowl, which is kind of a nod to, the swinger parties, right? With the keys.
Yeah.
And so everybody put their card in this fishbowl. And so then we kind of went around, and so like so-and-so picked a card, and they got to introduce that person.
Yeah, so you had to choose a card and then mill around the room and meet people, and then once you found your person,
right,
then your job was to introduce that person
to the group. Yeah.
And honestly, I would say that went pretty well.
It did. I think some of your questions were may have fallen a little flat, but yeah.
They did. You can't win them all.
Because you ask questions like, what's the deal with fisting?
Well, see, here's the thing.
Like, yeah.
Some of these questions, here's the thing about this.
It's all about timing and how much alcohol people have had.
Well, that's a big part of it. The alcohol helps, and we were very early in the night. But but it's
an icebreaker.
You're not wrong about that.
You know what I mean? Like,
you're not wrong about that. But it depends on who gets the card.
Yes,
right?
Sure.
Because there are some people for whom, if you give them the card and it says, what's the deal with fisting? They're going to go red in the face and they're going to say, I don't know. I've never done it. And then there are other people. How
likely is that with a fucking room full of swingers?
It just depends, because everybody's a little different. But I get this card, okay? And I start rolling up like Sammy Sosa. Like you're going to
hit that shit out of the park.
Right?
Yeah, no, I get it.
That's a challenge, right?
Yeah.
So it all depends on who it goes to. But people were fun about it.
People were fun.
And then we went for about an hour of just kind of milling around, hanging out. During this time, we had a phenomenal spread.
Oh man, we did.
Out. And this is all part of the hotel. The hotel catering takes care of this.
Yeah.
But there was an enormous fruit tray, which happened to look like a vagina.
I didn't notice that, but I guess that makes sense that you would.
There was a good amount of talk
the
about
cheese
that.
Tray looked like a big cock. What?
No, it didn't look like a cock at all. But the way they did the vegetable tray, that's what it was. It was the vegetable tray. It was like all this amazing stuff on there. But then in the middle part, there was like cauliflower, but it was like,
wait a minute.
It was like,
wait a minute. Are you saying my vagina looks like cauliflower?
No, not at all. So there's like a cauliflower, like a kind of a half moon shape over here,
like
and
a lip?
half moon shape over here.
Yeah.
And then like the middle was like red tomatoes, and like a lot of people were like, why does the vegetable tray look like a vagina? That was not planned. It just worked out that way.
Lucky us.
Lucky us. So we had that. And then there was a big fruit tray.
Veg tray.
The veg tray.
Can we order that next year? Excuse me. Can we get the veg tray?
Yeah. Then there was like this enormous cheese tray and an enormous
so much cheese.
Like fruit stuff.
Yeah.
And then we had some hot items also.
Yeah.
And like these like taquito things.
Little mini pizzas.
And these little mini pizzas.
Meatballs.
And the meatballs. Yeah, those were really good. So there was a lot of stuff. And honestly, that lasted a lot throughout the night.
It did.
We're going to have even more of that stuff next year.
So bring your appetite.
So bring your appetite. But there was lots of stuff like that out. And then the next thing that came up was we had our amazing boudoir photographer, Bridget.
Yes.
Of B. Yates Photography. She came all the way up from Columbus.
Yeah, she's amazing. We love her. And she had a couple mini shoots that she was doing throughout the night.
She did, but she came up to do a demo.
She did.
A live demo. She talked to the group about doing boudoir.
Mm-hmm.
And as an aside, if you've never done boudoir photography, you should. And this
Absolutely.
she is incredible because for one thing, she's a lifestyler herself. So she understands that whole aspect of it.
And she gets those dynamics.
She does.
And I think one of the cool things about her, and she's very open about this. She wants to get to know you to a point to understand your dynamic, to capture you.
Well, that's
in the best way. You know what I mean? It's not like she just starts clicking her camera, right? She really wants to understand the person or persons she is photographing to kind of really capture some of those dynamics and those kinds of pieces of your relationship, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, what she does, yes, she does so well is so many photographers have a certain set of like 10 shots or whatever
Right.
that they know they can really do well. They know they can really get it. They know how to pose you. And so the shoot kind of feels like, okay, do pose 1, do pose 2,
Right.
do pose 3. One of the things about her that's amazing is she's, like you said, she's very good about saying, what is it you want to communicate?
Right.
Like, what do you find sexy about yourself? And then tailoring your session to that. She's so great at that. And she's also really good at getting the guys involved.
She is.
So if you go on our website, schedulingsin.com, most of our boudoir shoot, not everything, but most of our boudoir shoot
some of them
that we did with her is
or
on
Mr.
the website.
Snow. Yeah.
And so she was available. She did a mini demo during the party. And she even had one of our guests all in a chair.
Yeah.
Taking very sexy pictures.
Very sexy pictures.
And then split out with a few people to do minis throughout the night. She's going to be there again next year.
She is the official Scheduling Sin photographer.
100%. Yeah, she's the official Scheduling Sin boudoir photographer. If you
and if you follow her on TikTok, she posted a video that kind of walked through the room.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool.
She did. We'll have her links and connection stuff in the show notes for this episode. But if you ever want to reach out and connect with her, she's in Columbus. She does travel a little bit throughout the area. So get in touch with us via email or join the Discord, and we'll get you connected with Bridget.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But she's incredible, and she's going to be there next year. We have a fun announcement about that.
Oh.
So we'll save that for later. Let's save that part for later. So
just, you're so good at just like building it up and getting us all worked up and excited and wet and juicy in the pants. Then you're like, no, I'm going to wait.
That's foreplay.
Ugh, it's annoying.
So after we did this, people are still milling around. And it was about this time that we noticed one of the guys there was starting to lose a button. Not lose like the button was falling off, but like his shirt was coming unbuttoned.
Yeah, he had a button-down shirt. And I kind of, you notice like right after the icebreaker, you see that the button is undone. You're like, okay, he's getting undone. He's getting relaxed. Okay, that's cool. And then as the night progressed, the buttons just kept going down. Like,
but slowly.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Like, it was like I don't know if it was like every other beer he drank or I don't know.
I don't know.
Like,
but as
every time I saw him, he had one less button done.
As the night went on, he kept losing buttons. Mm-hmm. We were joking with him that you could tell time by how many buttons he still had on.
Yeah. Yeah. He was quite the character.
Quite the character.
Yeah.
He spent a lot of time telling us how big his balls were.
Yes. We spent a lot of time talking about his balls.
And we did confirm that later. So we played Swinger Feud.
Right.
That was the big game of the night.
It was. We had a lot of fun with that.
And the way we did Swinger Feud, and you're going to hear it actually in just a few minutes. It's right in this episode. But the way we did it was we split the group into 4 and into 2 teams of 4.
Right.
And it was just like Family Feud, the way it was laid out. We had our displays up on the screens. We had everybody mic'd up. We were playing, and it was great. And you're going to hear all that in just a few minutes once that plays in this episode. But that was the big game of the night.
That was quite fun. And I think coming up with the questions
was so much frickin' fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So much frickin' fun. And then after the game, after we played Swinger Feud, from then on, it was, by now it's about 11 o'clock.
Well, right. So I think, we wanted to make it so like we had kind of some kind of activities or something kind of earlier to kind of get people in the mood and just loose and having fun. And then obviously after all that was said and done, obviously it was kind of a free for all. And I think that was kind of the point where everybody decided it was time to take their pants off.
Yeah. Stuff started coming off.
Yeah. And so I had a couple costume changes, had a nice red dress to start. And then when I was part of the feud host, I had my super sequiny dress on, and then I got into lingerie.
Yeah. And the podcast panties.
And the podcast, because you gotta give
represent
the audience what they want, right?
Absolutely. So by the time the game is over, Mrs. Snow is down to this red little lacy top thing.
Yeah.
And her red podcast panties.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the gals now are down to
they're dressed down.
Outstanding lingerie.
Yeah.
I got triple flashed.
Triple flashed.
So I got down. I have my little Shinesty boxers on.
Right.
And which ones were they? They were the pineapple ones. They were the pineapple ones. And I had those on, and I had my jacket on.
The sports coat.
So I was wearing a sports coat and my little Shinesties.
And he was so cute about it.
It was so comfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm like strutting through. I'm like walking along. I go out on the porch and here are 3 of the gals sitting on, I think they're actually sitting on that little fountain thing, but it was off. So like you could sit on it. And as I walk through the door, all 3 gals spread their legs open and flashed me all at the same time. It was just fantastic. But I went out there.
You saw a couple labes, huh?
Oh, yeah.
All the labes.
All 6.
All 6.
So I go out there a little bit and we're talking. And then the funniest thing happened.
They were talking about your undies.
Yeah, we were talking about my little Shinesties. And I said, well, they're so soft, you got to feel them.
That is the biggest, fucking, oh, you like my undies? You should feel how soft they are. Never mind, they're connected on my balls.
Well, they came over and they start rubbing on them,
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, they're even softer in the front.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they checked.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Yeah. Mr. Snow got his balls rubbed.
Yeah. Got my balls rubbed a little bit.
That was fun.
And at this time, we noticed that Big Balls guy had lost another button in his shirt.
Yeah. Just coming on down.
They're still coming on down.
I mean, part of me's like, just take it off, bro.
So as we were going through the night, button. Finally, he runs out of buttons.
Yeah.
And he's at the bar.
Well, at this point, we're kind of all mingling at the bar.
Most of there's kind of 2 big groups. There's like some that are still chilling outside.
Yeah.
And we and a bunch of people were inside, kind of around the bar.
Yeah.
And I don't know how this happened. I just watched it. Like, I kind of came into it. You're over here behind the bar, just kind of getting felt up.
Yeah, I was getting my flirt on with one of the gorgeous men there.
One of the gentlemen there.
He was quite nice.
And then across the table, Big Ball guy.
We're going to get him on the show, and he's just going to be known as 100%. Big Ball. Yeah, Big Balls. Hey, Big Balls.
So he goes walking over to the display table, and he grabs one of the cock rings, and he comes back to the bar, and he's like ripping the thing open on his way back to the bar.
The purpose is to show how big his balls were.
I don't really know. Okay. I don't really know how we got to this.
He just felt the need to model this cock
ring.
Okay.
I don't know. But I'm standing here behind the bar, and I'm watching this. He's coming back across. He's getting this cock ring out. And I watch as his wife and another woman, this is a rubber cock ring.
Yeah.
He has got his dick and balls out now, and they are stretching this rubber cock ring out.
I just am waiting for it to pop.
Oh my God. Trying to put it on him. And the girls are laughing so hard they're crying.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like I'm waiting for a rubber band to snap.
Yeah.
Like I'm just waiting for one of these girls. And the funniest thing is this guy's laughing so hard too. And his nuts are going up in his body. So he can't even like really get it on because the only thing that's sticking out is sack at this point. And he's trying so hard and everybody's freaking laughing. And I'm just waiting. I am waiting for one of these ladies
pop him in the
to
balls.
let this thing go and just slap him in the balls.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, we're going to have to pick this guy up off the ground with a spoon.
Yikes.
And the truth is, I don't even know if he got it on or not. I kind of lost track of it at that point.
Well, I think at that point, I felt like ego may have been a little bruised since the balls were kind of not cooperating.
Oh, I don't know. Sure didn't seem like it.
Oh.
I don't know. I think he was doing fine. But that was, oh my God, that was funny.
Yeah, where else can you stand in a bar with a bunch of nearly strangers and watch guy lose button after button after button, but also like these two women. And one of these women, obviously one was his wife, but one was a woman I think he had just met.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. And so
I'll tell you exactly where. SnoBall 2025.
2024. That's right. We're setting a precedent here. So Big Balls, hope you come back next year.
Oh, he'll be back. He'll be back. Big Balls will be back for sure. For sure.
Maybe we can try again. I don't know.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, that was really funny. So,
oh man,
it was about that time. Oh, and before that, we had one of our guests who brought a bunch of floggers.
Oh yeah. So we have
and that wasn't planned. She just brought those.
She ended up bringing them, and she, I guess, she experiments a little bit in the dom sub world. And I think that's very much her jam. And so she had brought some floggers, and I think she was willing to kind of try it out on people that were interested.
Anybody that wanted to get flogged
that interested.
could.
And a couple of us went over, myself included. And I think
that was the first time I've ever seen you be flogged.
Yeah. And I tell you, and it was a very nice one that she had. It's very soft leather. And thinking about like the BDSM kind of world and the idea of getting whipped or the idea of getting flogged, I think there's kind of this thought of it hurts and it's painful. And that it couldn't be further from the truth, because the floggers, I assume you can get some really cheap ones that probably aren't super comfortable, but if you get nicer ones, they're really soft and they're really kind of a fun feeling when they're kind of being whipped on you. I guess for lack of a better word.
I gotta admit, it was hot to watch.
Yeah, and I was pretty sure, was my ass out?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, no, so your top was off. You were just wearing your panties.
Okay. Oh, I took off the little.
You took off the top part.
Okay.
You still had your panties on.
Yeah. So she was kind of doing my back and my ass.
And you were like on your knees, kind of bent over.
Yeah.
And I think all the girls did that because you guys were
on a chair.
Yeah, we're kind of kneeling backwards in a chair.
Yeah.
Which is a hot position, fucking anyway.
Yeah.
And that was fun for all the guys. Like we really enjoyed that whole session.
Yeah. So I think we're going to invite her back and maybe give her an actual space to do that for people that are interested.
I think we might. We'll have to check that out. See if she's interested in that. That was unexpected, but it was super cool. We had, so that all went on. And then as we got later in the night, that's when things started to really, people started breaking off and you started seeing some play going on.
So the room that we chose, I don't want to say it's not really conducive to play. I mean, you can play in it, but it's not really set up for that, obviously. But leave it to some swingers, like they'll make it work. They don't really care. So, but we had a lot of fun. So then that little back alcove, like, kind of turned into like the little play area.
That kind of turned into the spot because it was a little bit out of the way.
Yeah.
You could kind of get a little bit of privacy back there. There was a lot of people that went back there to play.
Yeah.
And throughout the evening, I noticed, because I kept walking by here, that you and this gentleman friend of yours.
Oh man, he was nice.
Just
I liked
kept
him.
getting a little closer and a little closer back there.
I was standing in lingerie next to him behind the bar, and we were kind of chit chatting, and he his hand was on my ass for a while, and my hand was down his pants for a little while, and we were just flirting,
You were just flirting right up to the point where he turned you around at the bar and started making out with you and got your tits out.
Yeah, he got my tits out in front of the bar. And that was, in front of everybody at the bar. So that was pretty fun.
He did a little more than that.
Shit happens.
Right up until the point where you looked at him and said, let's go somewhere.
Let's go somewhere. I don't mind putting on a show, but I wasn't the most comfortable because I was standing up. Like I would have liked to be somewhere else.
Right.
And so, yeah, he and I kind of went over to that little back play area where there was another couple that was already playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. And I immediately got his incredibly hard dick out and I started sucking him.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was fun.
And it's fun because, it was just, I can't describe it. Like this environment was just, it was just very comfortable. Everybody was super nice, very friendly. It's very different than a club in a lot of ways.
Different than a vanilla club.
Well,
Oh, you mean different than a lifestyle club?
A lifestyle club in the sense that, like, I don't think there were really anybody that that didn't feel cliquish. It didn't feel like people weren't welcoming, or, I mean, like, obviously people kind of grouped off, but everybody was very nice and welcoming to everybody.
Well, that was a really key element of the party, and something we kind of tried to engineer a little bit in by creating situations where people were engaged as a group,
right,
through the game and through the icebreaker and through the boudoir session and stuff. We were able to kind of bring the whole group together to all play together.
Yeah.
And that was very much on purpose, and we'll keep doing that at SnoBall, because one of the things I've always disliked is you go to a club,
yeah,
and if you don't know people there, they do sometimes feel cliquey. And a lot of it's not because people are unfriendly. It's because a lot of the people there already know each other.
Right.
And those connections are already made. And lifestyle connections have a tendency to be pretty strong.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of hard to break in if you don't know people.
Yeah.
This party was very successful in breaking the clique side down.
Yeah. I mean, there were definitely people that knew each other, but it was still very, very open and welcoming.
Very open, very welcoming. I think everybody felt included.
Yeah.
Throughout the course of the night.
Yeah.
One of my favorite stories from when we were all playing back there in the back.
Yeah. So I was playing with him, and you ended up playing a little bit with his wife.
Yeah. She came over and joined me a little bit.
Because you were watching.
I was watching.
And she felt the need to kind of help you out.
And I'm not going to lie. That is amazing.
Like, you're like, this is the greatest day ever. I get to watch my wife get just totally railed while some other woman sucks me off.
I mean,
it didn't suck.
And it was very, very nice.
Yeah.
And at one point, like, this is the exhibitionist side of me that is just amazing. I'm sitting there in a chair. His wife is going down on me, and he's playing with you. I'm watching you, and I'm watching everybody else, and I'm watching her. And one of my friends comes over casually up to me in the chair, and she's like, "Hey, we've got a really early morning. We've got to go." And she comes down and she gives me a kiss, and she's like, "I'll talk to you next week." All of this is going on at the same time.
She's like, "See you later."
All of this is going on at the exact same time. And this is for me, like, my very favorite lifestyle stuff. Like,
I think
I
you just
love
love
the exhibitionism.
The exhibitionism, but just also, like, in conjunction with, I want to say, the casualness of
yes, it's very casual.
There's
it's very
nobody
relaxed.
there's nobody that's like, you know,
No.
or taken aback by it. They're just like, you might as well have been, I don't know, like making popcorn. Like, you know what I mean? Just as far as
it's very free flowing, very casual, very comfortable. And
it's the comfortable
thing. But it doesn't, it is not weird. There's something about it that's just not weird.
Yeah.
And so that was a lot of fun. Later on in that session, one of the ladies had one of the vibrator toys.
Yes.
Because Extreme Restraints gave us like a bunch of these cool vibrators. They're like a normal vibrator toy with like a glass wand end of it.
They're really nice. They're
nice heavy toy.
Yeah.
She is on the couch, legs wide open, playing with this toy.
Yeah.
And she's having a great time. Well, it slips out of her hand. She drops it on the floor, and it lands on the carpet that's underneath the chair that she's sitting on. And this vibrator is on. And so it hits the carpet, and it's really short carpet. And all of a sudden it's going, and it's like
running away.
It's like sliding away from her. And she like kind of sits up and she looks at it. She's like, "Bring that back here."
I mean, yeah, like,
my vibrator's getting away.
My vibrator's getting away.
Oh my God, that was so freaking funny.
Yeah.
And then you were playing. You were getting fucked.
Yeah.
And sucking off one of the guys. And then I think we decided you wanted your Shibiri, your vibrator.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I was gonna go get it.
He was naked as Jaybird.
Naked as a Jaybird. And this is where I kind of have to give an apology to Big Balls.
The Big Balls.
So
yeah.
I had to go across the whole play space into like this little area where we had all of our,
kind of stuff.
Everybody had their stuff laid out. And I was going to get this vibrator. Well, he and his wife were getting ready to leave.
Yeah.
And they were getting ready to go. And they're kind of walking around saying goodbye to everybody. And
we were shitty hosts at the end of the night. We were a little busy.
To be fair, they knew we were playing because they had been back there playing alongside us for a little while. So that's not news to them. But I'm butt naked, heading to go get your vibrator.
You were very focused. You were on a mission.
And Big Balls is like, hey, we're leaving. And instead of being a good host, and instead of doing what I should have done, although I was completely naked, and stopped and said, hey,
no one's concerned about this.
Thank you guys for coming. Thank you so much. You know, instead of doing what I should have done, I was like, see ya!
I have a vibrator and a pussy to get to.
Kept right on going. Oh, that was so bad.
Oh man.
Oh, so funny. I do feel a little awkward about that one.
But I think if you scan out and you look at that, like, this man is on a mission. He is naked and his wife is over there waiting. Like, I mean, no, like, if you were on the opposite end of that, you'd be like,
I know,
cool.
I totally get it.
It's totally cool, man.
It's cool, man. Fine. You do what you got to do.
So, Big Balls, we want you to come back next year. We want you to put another cock ring, and we appreciate you coming.
Yeah. So anyway, and from there, the night kind of started to wind down. After we got done playing and other people were getting done playing. Well, and you had
your Yeti call.
I had my call of the Yeti.
Yeah, which was nice.
Who was it? One of the guys said something along the lines of like, once we heard you come, we knew it was over. and then everybody kind of started to head out around that time. And by then it was probably getting close to 2.
It was late. Yeah. And then we ended up, we cleaned up a bit.
Yeah.
Because I think it was just easier for us to kind of do it that night.
And then we headed back to our hotel room and had sex again.
We did. Yeah. I was just naked.
I think a lot of people fucked that night after the party.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got a couple pictures of, Pegasus Pecker and that one chick. But
That's true.
Yeah. They were pretty worked up.
So
we had a lot of fun.
So that was SnoBall. And
that was SnoBall.
We've already gotten a ton of feedback, a ton of comments. Everybody was super gracious. And we've already gotten a message from the hotel. They want us to come back next year.
Yeah.
So we didn't scare off anybody too badly.
Right.
And we think next year we're even going to be twice as big as we were the year before.
Well, I think next year we're going to potentially move, like have 2 rooms, and one of the rooms is obviously going to be the same room, right, that we were in this year, but the other room is going to have more of a designated play space because it's actually got a bedroom attached.
It's got
to it.
2
bedrooms. Yeah.
So the second room has a kind of a bar seating area in the middle, and it has 2 large bedrooms attached on either side, and these bedrooms both have like whirlpool tubs and showers and all kinds of things. We're thinking one of these rooms is probably going to be designated as a boudoir photo suite.
Right.
For Bridget to use throughout the night and to do minis. The cool thing about this, if it all comes together, is that for couples that are okay with it, she'll be able to do their minis where people can watch.
Yeah.
And that's fucking hot.
Yeah, that super fun.
Fucking hot.
But I also think it's going to be really cool for people to actually see what it's all about before they potentially do it. Because I think there's a lot of anxiety that goes along with it. So.
Absolutely. So that'll be amazing.
But it's going to be a lot of fun.
And then the room across from that is going to be a playroom.
Yeah.
So there's a bed in there. We're also going to have some other spaces in there. So Mrs. Snow won't be completely crammed into a chair like she was this year.
I mean, I made it work.
You made it work.
I mean, we put on a show.
You made it work. But more designated play space. It'll be more seating area. We're really excited to grow next year.
Yeah.
And that's going to increase our capacity a little bit too.
Yeah.
So that's going to help. Next year will be September 27th.
Yes. Saturday, September 27th.
A Saturday. We're going to do the time frames exactly the same. Doors will open at 7, close at 2. We'll have lots of great activities. And the cool thing about this is tickets are going to go on sale very soon.
Right.
And up until we're thinking right about March, we're going to have an early bird special, 10% off on tickets.
Sure.
So definitely want to check that out. And you'll also be able to sign up for your boudoir sessions and a couple of other things as you get your tickets for next year.
Right.
So you'll be able to all do it in one place.
And I think a lot of people, some people were local until they went home, but some people got a hotel room.
Yep.
And so we'll have a block of rooms.
We will.
There are also other hotels and other accommodations nearby. So if you wanted to do that, you could do that. And I know that we did kind of a casual breakfast the next day. And possibly.
Yeah, I think we're going to plan that a little bit more
we'll plan
this
that
year.
maybe a little better next year, just to kind of make sure we're including people, or if people are traveling,
we didn't really plan that this year, but it was fun. It kind of came together anyway.
It did. Yeah,
a message went out over Discord. It's like, hey, is anybody still around? Does anybody want to get together for breakfast?
And so a small group of us
did.
a
small group of us did. But I think if we plan for it next year, maybe we'll have a little bit bigger group for breakfast. So that was actually pretty cool. Yeah. And it was a good way to see everybody and say goodbye as they were heading out. So super excited for next year.
So SnoBall 2024 is in the books, and it was a lot of fun, and we learned a lot, and we're super excited about next year.
Yep.
And we are super excited about Extreme Restraints and to see what they're gonna be able to share with us next year. But we're pretty stoked, and we just want to thank everybody who came and everybody who supported us during this. I mean, it was a lot of work. But it was a lot of fun, and I think it was worth it. And I think people really enjoyed it and really, really kind of valued the time with other people and getting connections and just having a fun, very laid back space.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you would like to get on as a sponsor or to participate in some way, we're open.
Or you want to do a demo, maybe?
Yeah. Or if you want to do a demo, lots of things are available. For all of these things,
we're open to most things. Yeah.
Yeah. You could just email us at SnoMilf, SNOMILF @yahoo.com.
Yeah.
Check out our website, schedulingsin.com. There's a SnoBall page there that has a lot of good information and a video from this last year.
Yeah.
And always join the Discord. I always push that. Our budding community is constantly chitter-chattering away in the Discords. There is a special section for SnoBall 2 for those guests.
Yeah.
If you want to jump in there and get to know people who are going to be there. In the meantime, thank you everyone for helping. Thank you everyone for coming to SnoBall.
Special shout out to Lee and Misty. They were super helpful. They were there to help us set up and just amazing friends of ours that we've really kind of grown to just love in this community. But they were really helpful in this putting on this event as well.
And they were there right in the beginning. I mean, they helped us choose the space right in the very beginning. So couldn't do it without them. Thank you again. And we'll leave you now to enjoy Swinger Feud.
Yes. Wait, no, that's not it.
That's the wrong song.
Oh, awkward.
Bye.
Bye. We want to hear from you. Email us at snomilf@yahoo.com. That's SNOMILF @yahoo.com. You can also join us on our Discord and have some fun interactive conversations with us. The link is in the show notes. Talk to you soon.